Oh, baby. Oh, baby. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening to my people? Mr. Al Pete right here from the Mighty MPN Network, Clear Vision Show. If you're not watching the video, then you listen to the audio. So Clear Vision's podcast. Round of applause. Stadium music. And we are bike. BYKE for Duval County, back for the world. Hopefully everybody is good. Hopefully your week is going good whenever you're watching this. Hopefully the weekend was or is about to be better. Okay. So thank you for hitting play. Thank you for subscribing, all the things in general. Okay. So we are going to breeze through this a little bit, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't think this is going to be like a 30-minute show, but I don't know. I'm not going to time it, but black media. So I made a post, and I said I'll go back to it since I should have probably had this already queued up, but it's all good though. We're gonna go to it real quick. Proud sponsors and all that stuff. Blah 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 blah. So, black media in Duval is interesting. Them egos strong, though, for no reason at all. Happy podcasting. Stadium music. Yeah, no, I don't be looking for no responses or no feedback or whatever. I just be posting my feelings. Like everybody on the internet posts their feelings, right? I'm able to post mine, but it seems like every time I post my feelings, people are just like, it's the eyeball emoji. Like, what do you mean? Say more. So this is my platform to say more. Okay. So let's identify what black media is. Simply, an African-American person, well, some people would think it's an African-American person giving the news, but specifically, it's more so when it's African-Americans giving African-American information, whether it's news, which we talked about this last night with the Entrepreneurship Task Force. Shouts out to them over there on the block, NABJ. But black media doesn't necessarily stick with the news. Like we're giving information, we're being informative, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the news. It could be other avenues. It could be music. It could be photography. It could be film. It could be any genre. Like if you want to go rom-com, if you want to go thriller, whatnot. But somebody reviewing movies or somebody reviewing arts and entertainment. So it's a plethora of things, right? But specifically when we talk about black media, it's a black media, I'm thinking, and essentially what it is in my books is an African-American person giving African-American information, news, media, some type of intel on said thing from a journalistic standpoint. The journalism is the heart of it. Okay, making sure that your facts is right, the who, what, when, where, why is in the house, being logical about it, being straight and narrow with it, no type of bias type of situations or whatnot. So that's my definition of black media. If you have another definition of black media that you think, please feel free to let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know anywhere. So with that being said, this is all of these points are my observation. Okay. My observations, mine. Okay. Because I have every right to, my hat's crooked. Y'all, my bad. I have every right to have, observations on things. Right. So, I had an event I didn't have an event. I was attending an event on Sunday. First off, shouts out to Elise Rose. My sister know how to connect the dot, boy. The show. And if you missed the whole Connect the Dot series that I did, please go reflect on it. Go listen to it. Check it out. Let me know what you think. But she hooked it up for me and a couple other queens to do some type of media coverage on Sable Bourbon, which was Morris Chestnut, Harold Perrineau. Sorry if I'm butchering that name up. Malcolm Lee, and then Tay Diggs. But they have a liquor, Sable Bourbon, and they came and did a bottle signing and a meet and greet. So we did the press on that part, right? So we were there, and just being frank with y'all, I wasn't gonna go because I'm in this moment where I'm like, I don't want to look like a fan. I don't want to look like a groupie. Like that hit me probably about 2 months ago. And I was like, I do not want to be a groupie. I don't want to be a groupie. I don't want to be just taking pictures with people because, this person is here. Like in the field that I'm in and just the mental space that I'm in. Shouts out to Crate for making me, not making me, but helping me flush this out. But like, I'm like, we're peers. Like, it might not be on the level of what the other artists or celebrities are doing to that, but I'm doing it to that magnitude. So with that being said, like I am a peer. I am not. I can be a fan, and I'll know. Y'all will know when it becomes a fan. It's like if it's Big Boy, Nas, or somebody who those type of people, then it's fan action. But for the most part, like I'm a peer at this point because I've done a good little bit of work that matches the work that they did, but the only difference is they're just celebrities and I'm just here respectfully, respectfully. So with that being said, I wasn't gonna go because I was like, I don't want to be no fan. I'm really biased from that, right? I'm just like, I do not want to look like a fan. I don't want to like a fan. I don't want to like a fan. I don't want to look like a fan. All right, and I'm big on that. But Elise really like looked out for us. The way that it happened, it happened like perfectly. It was just beautiful how I did it. So again, let me give stadium music to Elise Rose for being the facilitator on that, man. That was dope. So nevertheless, I went and when we got there, shout out to all the black media that were there, right? It wasn't necessarily the people it wasn't the people that were there. It was the politics behind it. And so I got a little bit of it as well as kind of observed it from when I was there. And it just seemed very like, why are you here? And this is for people outside of the black media space, people that just look at traditional media and content creators or whatever and look at them and be like, why are you here? They be thinking that another type of a group of people should be in place. And it's like, even outside of that part, like I'm sitting here like flushing my thoughts out now. And I'm like, darn, like people don't even, for lack of a better phrase, respect what black media represents. I mean, and it's kind of obvious in my eyes. So tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong with it. But you got Sable Bourbon, which seems to be black, like African American or black brand. Why wouldn't you have African American black media coverage or creators in the space? But then within that, it's like people be like, why are you even here? So that's the part that's just been bothering me. And this is just one situation. It's been plenty situations where black media has went against another person within the black media space. Okay. So with that being said, I said black media, and I know that was kind of broad, but I would surprise you all and let you know that it's a lot of people that feel like that they're not in the black media space, or the black media space in Jacksonville doesn't even exist. Which is crazy to me. Now, I don't hear a lot of talk when it comes to black media in Jacksonville, which is interesting on its own occasion. And this is before I even fully got into the NABJ sphere, right? But just listening to conversations, talking to people that are in these spaces, either they don't even like kind of put themselves in the black media space, or they don't even know that it exists for them to be able to insert them. And for the most part, and I know this might sound kind of short, but like me, I'm a DJ. So it's to the point now when people don't have to see me with a speaker or a turntable or whatever, and they like DJ. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm holding a speaker or a mixer or a turntable or whatnot, then that makes me, it's in most eyes, it looks like I'm a DJ or I'm around it. But for the most part, people, if I'm walking around the street and you see me 2 or 3 times with a turntable, you like, okay, that's a DJ. So that's the preference that people see out and about. So if you walk around with a pen and a notepad and you're around getting notes and then you're reporting the news and your skin is black, most people would think or just assume or just flat out be like, you are media, but then you are a form of black media, okay? This is all subjective. This is my thoughts. I want to reiterate that, okay? So with that being said, I just want to talk about 3 points real quick. Three points. Let me see where we at. So my observations, and I'm sure I'm going to have to revisit this again. I should bring some other people on just to have that conversation, just to see how they feel about things, right? Traditional media versus content creator. This is point 1. Traditional media versus content creator. It's almost like I don't want to say content creator because I feel like content creators need to have a better word associated with them, especially within the media space. So I don't know, maybe everybody is like drowning that name to the ground, like a culture or a community or stay woke, whatever the case may be, right? I don't know. But in the context of what I'm talking about, it's almost like I want to give the content creators a different name, because as soon as people hear content creator in the media space or the communication space, it puts like this, it sets this tone like, you're not welcome in this space, okay? But I'm here to let you know, the content creators, this is the for lack of a better word or phrase, I don't want to go as far as to say it's here to stay, but I feel like it is here to stay. And definitely it is here for the moment. And when I say the moment, I'm thinking like it's a heavy, heavy moment. Right? You just see certain things, you're like, okay, this is going to kind of be around forever, even if it evolves or whatever. Like, content creating is a content creator is going to be here forever, or going to be here for a great, great, great moment, okay? So I know that traditional media people that have the traditional skills and essence and spirits of how traditional media, is and how it exists, I've been around a couple of them, and they've been shunning the living crap out of content creators. And I'm like, I see it like all day. I'm like, look, content creators, they are journalism 3.0 or 4.0, whatever you want to call it, but they are very influential, and they are very essential to how we get information. And the day and times that we have is very essential. Now, do they have the credentials to be a journalist or, communication, No, I mean, most of the people I know don't walk around with fucking, I'm sorry, excuse my French, with marketing degrees or journalism degrees or whatever. But at the same time, too, I've seen a lot of people that have these degrees and these credentials or whatever, and are not doing, the job that I would think that they would be doing. But that's neither here nor there, you know what I'm saying? But, and regardless if we're looking at this as credentials or not or whatever, but content creating, they're basically informing us on what's going on. Like, and I'm talking about from a quick shot point of view. Quick shot point of view, they like, this is what it is, this is how it is. They have people like paying attention to them or to the subject and the topic or whatever, like instantly. They're able to tell stories within like very, very quickly, very, very quick. We watch these videos on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Threads, any social media that you could think of, and they are like giving us the breakdown. I'm talking about like the breakdown of this happening, that's happening, that's happening, and we are influenced by it in some form of capacity, right? So with that being said, I constitute that as form of journalism. Um, Fight me on it. I gotta find out if that's a war that I even want to fight. But I do know for NABJ Northeast Florida, the content creators, podcasters, influencers, when we have, if they fit this credential, that we're going to include them because we're going to include them. And I'm going to give a round of applause for that. Not for myself, but they need to be included. So with that being said, I feel like traditional media, people that have the traditional media sense, shuns content creators. So it's like this battle. So like when people come in the form of a content creator, remember the reference I told you about DJing? When people come as a content creator to a space that they feel like traditional media should be at, regardless if it's in the media space or outside of it. When I say outside, I'm talking about people, the outsiders, like, consumers and all this other stuff, right? When content creators come into this space, it's a problem. And then there's the whole back and forth situation. I've heard plenty of people on interviews. I've read a lot where people be like, content creators are not journalists. Like, yeah. Like, excuse my French, but no shit, Sherlock. Like they're not in a sense, but they are doing the duties of it. So I know for me personally, and I'm gonna go to step 2 and step 3. Me personally, I'm gonna try to find a way to where the content creators will be associated with journalism in all capacities. And a lot of these content creators are genuinely doing this, are passionately doing this. Now, granted, we need to pay them what they're doing because they're definitely doing the work and bringing it. Because the traditional media people I know they're looking at content creators and getting ideas. Because some of the traditional media people are starting to do the things that content creators are doing. That's a whole nother story, though. Whole nother story. We will not get into that because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, all right? Or bring up no debates, all right? So I'm going to make sure that there's some type of credential or some type of involvement that the content creators will be able to have, especially if they're passionate about it and they're being just as informative as traditional media. Now, let me let you know, traditional media would be like typical TV, radio, newspaper, that type of stuff, right? The content creating aspect of what we're talking about, it associates with all those things, but it's just more like blogs, social media, YouTube, that type of stuff, okay? So I hope that clears up for people that don't know. But there's this battle with content creators and traditional media that needs to like stop, period. Because content creation is going to be here. It's going to be here, all right? I can't get my head straight. I'm sorry, y'all. Blocking my eyes and everything, but it's all good. All right, my second point, the ego factor. The ego factor. I'm at 18 minutes. Look like I'm probably going to go to 30. Ugh. I was trying to be a little short, but nevertheless, the ego factor. I'm probably like people are probably going to like corner eye me or debate back on this, but we all have egos, right? We all have egos, but right now I'm specifically talking about Black media. Okay, so that means I'm going to be talking to my Black people. Black people in these egos. From my experience, when it comes to Black egos, boy, it is terrible. It's terrible. And people do some strange things for some change. Okay. Sometimes the strange things is a little bit of pettiness, but some strange things is detrimental to the whole ecosystem of things. And so I feel like if we're supposed to be developing or like moving along with Black media, the people that are in the Black media spaces, sometimes the ego, not even sometimes, the egos have to go. because the main mission is for us to be able to bring information to our black people, to our black people, our black communities, our black businesses, our black brands, our black stars, our black notable people. Like we're supposed to bring the news and bring the information to the people. Okay, that's our duty. Well, if you make it your duty, that's your duty to like provide information to black media, right? But the whole like, I'm here first, I've done it a long time, I've did this, I'm important, or that, like, your chest be out like this, and that gotta go. It gotta go, y'all. Black people, it gotta go. It gotta go. That, and when you walk in that spirit with the ego factor, that elitist part comes out. And I'm stick by this. I said racism. I say, being an elitist is almost as worse as being racist. So, but that's just my philosophy and my thought process. Maybe I'll write a paper on it later. I don't know. But with that being said, like, the egos are bad. The egos are bad. The egos are bad. People feel very threatened for no reason at all. Like, everybody could be in the space. And let me speak on the space. We had time slots. So the meet and greet was from 11 to 1. Looked like the time slots was like 10 to 11. From the way it looked like they was there at like 9 o'clock. Because I know some of my peoples was there at like 9:30 or whatever. So it looked like they was kind of starting it pretty early. Nevertheless, from 10 to 11, everybody had a 5-minute slot. So if you break that down, 5 minutes within an hour, everybody had their time and the opportunity to do what they was doing, to release it to their own media platforms, to the media platforms that they own and serve, or whatever the case may be, to their fans, to their communities. Everybody had time. But that ego was pretty heavy. Pretty heavy. And again, this happens outside of what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about one reference, but that ego was heavy. Black people, we got to get over that ego. We got to let that ego go. Like, we got to let it go. Got to let it go, because the ego is just going to hurt the ecosystem, and essentially it's going to hurt us. All right. Like, if there's a mission at hand that we're supposed to be doing, and we're supposed to be giving information to the people, the ego's got to go. That whole, I've done it longer than you. Why are you here? Like, you're not a journalist. All that has to go. We need a mixture of all of it. We need a mixture of traditional media, and we need a mixture of traditional media and content creation. Like, we need that. We got to think about it. For the most part, and I'm just hypothetically speaking. I don't have my data to prove it, right? We have, let's say, 20-year-olds, right? Let's say from 20 to like 65-year-old people, okay? 20 years old to 65. When you chop that up, you could chop it up to like 4 ranges. So let's just say 20-year-old to 30. 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. So you really got 5, because you do 60 to, well, you can say 50 to 65, right? Y'all get what I'm saying. So there's 4 different brackets, right? Each one of those brackets takes information differently. Now, there might be some 22-year-olds that will read a newspaper in a heartbeat. Probably pick up a newspaper from Wawa with they sandwich, and they read a paper all day. But at the same time, too, there are people that are like 55, 60 years old that love TikTok. And all they do is sit on the couch and swipe. So with that being said, traditional media is still being utilized. What I'm saying is content creation is still a powerful tool. It's so many mixtures, and you're going to reach different people. So we need everybody in position. We need the formation. What is it? The partition, the TikTok thing that I did. Shouts out to the Queens. Round of applause for them for having me do it. Like, I'm telling you, I'm going to be a TikTok star, y'all. Which is interesting, because the videos that I've been putting on TikTok, a lot of my age group is watching it between the ages of 35 and and 45. Well, yeah, between 35 and like 50 is watching TikTok. Now, people would tell you that we're old and all this other stuff, right? They tell you that you old, but they show flicking on TikTok. They show watching on Instagram. But at the same time, too, I play a lot of artists on my radio show, WJCT News 89.9, the neighborhood show. I play a lot of artists that's between the ages of 25 and 30, and what they doing? They cutting the radio on in their car. So when my point is traditional media and content creating, like we have a mission, both people can serve. So, but it can't serve if the ego is in place. Because I said I did this, I said I did. We gotta let it go, people. Specifically, Black people. We gotta let the ego go. There is a mission at hand. We have a mission. Okay. My last point. 25 minutes. All right. My last point. Access. The first word that comes to me is proximity. That's a whole nother word that I will talk about at a later date. But nevertheless, when we talk about proximity, we talk about access, right? Access, proximity, I think that kind of pairs together, correct? And depending on the situation, of course. But when you think about it initially, access, proximity, yes. I'm getting like you're in proximity of this thing, which means something had to give you access to the thing, right? Listen, the people that are running these events and meet and greets or these clubs or whatever the case may be, they understand how access works. Most of these people are in there. I'm not around here gauging everybody ages or whatever, but just from looking at it, whatnot, they have a position. They understand the power of marketing. So if your influence is in the content creation space, they should be bringing you in. If of course, you're not going to deny the traditional media part because, like I said in my past note, it's needed. Paper, TV, radio is still relevant. But at the same time, Threads, TikTok, YouTube is still relevant as well. So with that being said, the person that's putting the event on or understands the power of marketing and influence is going to make sure that the right marketing tools are in place. So with that being said, for the most part, a lot of these events sometimes miss bringing content creators in their space. And sometimes they miss bringing traditional media in space too. I done seen certain things, and you could just tell there's no type of marketing, nothing. I'm talking about like they might throw a flyer up, but that's it. But what else is coming into that? Now, I'm saying that with the fact that I do a lot of stuff myself, but the way that I'm about to pair up with these content creators and traditional media is crazy. And I've been working on it, and I'm going to reveal it, and it's going to be. I really have faith it's going to be beautiful for that. But for the most part, I do a lot of my marketing. And marketing happens in all kind of ways. I show the people events, with the intent to support them. But I am a walking billboard. So when people see me with the bill, as a billboard, it's going to it's going to inflict that he's a DJ. He does this, he does media, or he can do this and the third, right? So I have to be the walking billboard when it comes to me. I hope y'all follow me on that. But with that being said, that allows me access. It's been plenty of times I've been in buildings, minding my business, just wanting to just relax, kick back, buy some records, some shoes, whatever the case may be. The next moment, somebody hit me up and saying, "Oh, you know what? My auntie turned 60. I need a DJ, and I saw you, and that made me think about it." And I'm thankful. Okay. And another thing too, you don't have to like code switch. I tell my students all the time, you don't have to code switch to get what you want. You can just be yourself, and naturally things will come to you. But with that being said, majority of these situations that we deal with, and the people that we deal with, and the events that we do, or whatever business is being held or whatnot, there's an accessibility to it, the proximity action, and in a situation like the meet and greet or whatever, it just made sense for content creators to be there. It made sense for them to be there. Traditional media, great. It would have been beautiful for them to be there too. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it was a mixture of traditional media and content creation. Okay, I feel like it was a good mix of it. So I'm cool with that part. But I want people to understand like certain situations will allot for other people to have the access. Now, to my traditional media people and to my content creating people, if there's a way for you to get access to other people, let's do it. Do remember, we're talking about black media, all right? Not saying that we are limited to sources, but each one teach one. If you got access to bring other people, that's fine. Shouts out to Tori and Yolanda, my sister Yolanda. I forgot what they. Forgive me for forgetting, but they have like this like collective that they have where they talk about spirits and all that stuff, and it's like Shot Crew or something like that. I saw them at the event after I left, and I'm like, darn, like I want to be able to facilitate them more, but it made sense for them to be there. They have a brand specifically about like different type of cocktails and spirits and how you pair up this, that, and the third. I think it's beautiful what they're doing. Both of them have a very, very bubbly, beautiful personalities, right? And their whole thing is about shots and spirits. They needed to be there. So when I saw them online going live, I'm like, yo, they needed to be there. You know, I wish I could have facilitated more, but it don't matter. They were there. And that's all that matters. But now they're on my radar hard to where they're like, oh, when they need to be doing these type of things. So they need to be there. Matter of fact, it's another event that's coming up. Shout out to Duval. I don't know if y'all can see my. Hold on, let me do a round of applause for him. Hold on. There we go. Duval. So shout out to Duval, man. Shout out to Darren Eakins. Shout out to the Eakin brothers for doing it. This is local in Jacksonville, but they releasing 3 different flavors next week. And I asked them if we could do media for the same people, the same crew that we did media for. The same crew that went to do media for the Sable joint. I'm like, oh, we definitely got to represent for the home team. We got to represent for the whole team. But you know who else I'm gonna add to that? And all the people, the crew that I was with, they know. They already know. They ready to go. But you know who else I'm gonna bring into the picture? Yolanda and Tori, because that's their brand. They do it right. So that's me. That's me giving them access, but not even giving them access. I just feel like they need to be there because that's it matches. It makes sense. So with that being said, a lot of proximity and a lot of access. Some people got it or whatever, and that's one thing. If you get the access, great. But try to lend a helping hand to other people as well. And I'm gonna wrap this up, but like in the context that when I wrote down my notes, I was thinking like content creators, they have the access. They have the access. Maybe they don't know how to facilitate traditional media into it. Or maybe that the people that's throwing the event said, okay, we're just gonna have like 5 people. I don't know. But I'm saying though, like these people have access. So we can't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Like they were granted the access. And if you have the option to give the other people access, that's fine. But at the end of the day, we need to look at the bigger picture. Black media needs to exist because it's not going to exist in any other spaces. I don't want to get too deep into it, but y'all already know how black media is. Okay. So those are my points. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. 33 minutes. Stadium music. I didn't think it was going to be 33 minutes, but it's all good though. But yeah, hopefully y'all got something out of this. You got any questions, comments, thoughts, please feel free to hit me up in the chat. Excuse me, in the comments or whatever. I would love to have conversations about this with other folks within the space that I deem that's in the space. And maybe I'm like hyper on that because I just came back from NABJ, the convention in Atlanta. So like my media journalism type thing is like very, very, very high right now. But nevertheless, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe. If you're watching this on video, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Subscribe to YouTube. But if you listen to it on audio, make sure that you subscribe so you can get them updates when it is released. Okay. And make sure you follow MPN-LLC.com, MrAlp.com. If you're too lazy to go on the websites, go on the socials and follow Mr. Alpete, MRALPETE on Threads. That's why I be lurking at Instagram, Mr. Alpete. I'll be on Facebook too. TikTok when I get a chance. TikTok is Mr. LP MPN. But if you just go to the websites, it'll guide you everywhere you need to go. But that's where you can follow me. And follow MPN Management and follow Groove Suite, all that other stuff. I got to do a Groove Suite podcast episode soon. We'll be on that tip in a minute. But R&B mostly, Flowers for the Culture, whatever he says. He said, man, we rocking over here, MPN, man. Rocking. But thank you so much to all my people. Oh man, there's so many people. I can shout out, but I love y'all. I love y'all so much, man. Stadium music for y'all. Yeah, man, we rocking. But nevertheless, be good to yourselves and be good to others. It is Mr. LP signing off to the top.